Okay, today's video, I believe I lost my ring and pinion. I hope everybody can see this. This one I ordered off of eBay, came out of a brand new truck. And this is what I got. Sorry my bench is still a mess, but I can hold on to my front tires. And it still just spins. So what we're going to be doing today is taking off all of this stuff. Tearing the front axle apart. Try to figure out what happened, if that is the problem. I just wanted to have that just in case. But it will go over there. I don't remember what happened to my little container that I was putting everything in. So I'll just leave everything right there next to the tires. Oh, it was just really weird. Just sitting there running like normal, and then all of a sudden I didn't have four-wheel drive. So hopefully this right here will fix it. The one thing that I like to do is after I get the tires off, power on. There we go. There, it's centered for my Jeep now. Plug the battery, controller's off, controller goes back over here. Got my toolkit. I also have this toolkit. Now, a while ago, I went and I replaced the axle housing, and all the bearings and everything in there seemed to be just fine. Oh. Huh. Yeah, I bet you I stripped out some teeth. I don't know how that happened, but not like I'm too hard on this thing. So then after I take off the hex, nuts for the tires, and then I like to take off everything else. I've got a few wires to solder and all that stuff. So we'll go ahead and open up that kit. Place it over there. Everybody can see this. Yep, okay. You can either take it off from down here or from the servo horn. I like to take it off from the servo horn first. That way the servo horn stays where it needs to stay, and then I'll take the screw and I'll put it back into the servo horn. Oh, I was asked about trail honchos and everything like that. The trail honcho, it's a fine rig. There's nothing really wrong with it. It's a little light. Me, I prefer the Jeep. I really do like the Jeep over the honcho. There's a little bit more weight. It's more scale by far. I don't even understand how it got into the scale builders thing. Because, I mean, really, what is there? It's nothing, really. I don't understand that. But hey, I don't get to make the rules. The Jeep's got way more scale stuff on it. I know it's the same platform, really. They have a different housing for the transmission. It's got plastic links instead of metal. The axles are different. So if you wanted to do rear steer on the honcho, you would have to buy a separate rear axle, or a separate front axle to put on the rear, unlike The Jeep, they run the older style AR44, like this one, and really all you got to do is buy this piece in here. You buy 2 pieces, all the shafts and all that stuff, and that'll fit right on the back. You don't really have to change out the axle or anything, you just have to change out the sleeves and all that stuff. But really, we haven't really had a problem with CJ's honcho, like, whatsoever. Just when he let the other kid drive it, he broke off the front bumper and he lost his lights in the front, which CJ was upset to lose his lights because he really liked those. But I told him, don't let anybody drive it. I'm a 6-year-old around other, 6 to 9-year-olds. What do they want to do? Let somebody else drive it. And instead of messing with the links here, I just take it off from the axle, and the shock and everything comes off with it. I don't even know why I took that off, but took the shock off of the mount. One of these days I'll get in here and I'll be able to really clean this place up. I gotta get rid of 2 couches back over here, and then I'll have shelves to put my RCs on. But until that day, you can have a box background. Now I'm taking out the center link on top of the axle. And this is a very, very long-winded screw here. But honestly, if you're really debating on getting the honcho, I'd spend the extra money and I'd get the Jeep. That's what it came down to for me. It was either the honcho, the Jeep, or the Traxxas TRX4. And I wasn't sure which one I wanted, and I watched a lot of videos on it, but from personal experience, the Jeep definitely outdoes the honcho. And that's not, me comparing myself to a 6-year-old driving. That's me driving both vehicles. And that's also with the honcho with different tires on it and all that good stuff. But I was really impressed with the way the Jeep goes. I mean, I did quite a few things with it, and I had stock tires for quite a while. Then I'm just going to slide out the axle shaft like that. And instead of taking all this stuff down, I'm just going to go here. I'm going to pull off the caster mount. Like so. There we go. Oh, sorry. Barely doing that off the camera. Stool here. So in case everybody missed that, Now these things have arrows on them, or not arrows, but little lines. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. Yeah, you see that little line right there? There's another one right there too. So what I did, there we go, is once I took the 2 screws out of the caster mount, I was able to bring it up, and it would fold over this way, and then I was able to pull the axle shaft completely out. And then I just took out this screw here, pull it off almost all in one unit. Not that one. And then I just took off the drag line. I like working right here. Let's see if I can adjust this just a little bit. There we go. Okay, good. So now I'm taking off the differential cover. Remember, don't tighten these things up too tight. You will poke through. I don't know where my other one is. Is this it? Yes. This is my old differential cover. You can see that right there. I actually tightened it up too much, and that was causing a lot of problems. Now, the way this thing was acting, I expect like broken teeth and all that stuff, but I have no idea. Kind of relating it to real vehicles. So I ended up buying the brushless system for it, but it won't work because it's not censored. I bought the AEX Vanguard from Axial because that's what they told me, what they recommend putting in it, but that's not the right one. You want to get, like, I think, what is it, the Mamba X or the Mamba Micro X. The Micro X is 12.6 volt system, and if you're going to do heavy hill climbs, you don't want that one. You want the other one, the Mamba X. I'm just going to tap it. I'm going to take these gears out. Oh. Oh. Okay, so my ring and pinion, it's not bad. What happened is it sheared off. It sheared off the freaking top of the nuts. Or the bolts. You can see them in there. You can see them down in there too. I don't know if I'll be able to get those out. But since I have everything out, I have brand new bearings. I don't think I have any of these bearings. I don't think these ones didn't come with any. Nope. I might have a couple of bearings. I don't know if these will work. These are out of a Traxxas. See, when I would park cars out, I would keep the bearings and stuff like that. Now, this did come with bearings, but they're internal bearings and everything like that. So we're gonna go ahead and push the pinion all the way through. I'll wipe it off and I'll show it to you. So it's still good. This is still a good part. This is still a good part. And if I can get the screws out of the locker, it's still a good part. Though I mean, I could just buy a new locker for like $5. But I spent almost $30 on this, so I'm going to use everything I can out of this kit, and I still have to take that side off because I got to get to the bearing. It's going to come all the way out. There we go. that bearing will fit. And got that one. Sorry for the noise, my neighbor's moving their garbage can. And it looks like that bearing will fit too. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my tool here. I'm going to put it at an angle. And what that's going to do is it's going to push out that back bearing. Just like that. And that bearing's still good. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to go in through this side. Got to be at a little bit of angle, make sure you don't stab yourself, push it through. Just like that. That bearing is getting close to needing to be replaced. These are a little bit more tricky to get out. So what I do is this. Just catch them, twist them, just like that. Then I'll put them on my finger, twist. That's still a good bearing. I'll keep that one for a spare, but that one right there I'll just end up throwing away. So you just catch it, pry out just a little bit. This bearing should be, yeah, that's not catching at all, so that's still a good bearing in my standards. This one came off of the other side. It's catching. I can feel it. And I felt it, you know, when I put all this stuff back in. But for some odd reason, I just didn't go and order the bearing kit. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. Oh, look at that. So I believe, now I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that this right here is a hot racing one. And what I'm going to do with this one, okay, that's good. There we go, that one needs to be tightened up just a little bit. So anybody who's thinking about tearing apart your front axle, don't make the mistake that I did. Go ahead and when you pull all this stuff out and clean it, re-grease it, all that good stuff, go to the pinion or the ring and the locker and just tighten up those. It'll save you all this trouble. Alright, there we go, I found it. This right here is a new one. Nice. So this bearing went on the front. So we'll just take that, get it kind of squared up, boom, right in. And then this completely sealed bearing goes in right back there. Yeah, right there. You got to go from the inside. This one's a little bit more tricky. We're going to take that and we'll go push it down until it clicks. So now the pinion gear for the front end, boom, in there. It's nice, it's good. Now I'm going to take my tool here, and all this grease, I'm just going to go like that. This is all good grease. There's no metal shavings in it or anything like that. And then I'm going to pull some of it up. Just like that. And then these bearings, these ones, they go on the side of the locker. Just like that. Just like that. That's how they go. Now it can only go in one way. And if you're having a little bit of trouble figuring out, my wife's home, so now I'm probably have to go inside. Is you take your cover, why is this giving me so much trouble? This is how you go. Just like that. Okay. So that means it can only go in one way. So it's going to go in like this. So we'll pull the cover back off. We'll push that down. Push this in here. There we go. See, now I got all that grease there. Just going to go like this. There we go. It's pretty simple. Tell you, try putting it on backwards. There you go. Fits right in there just like that. Sounds good. Now the other one check I'm going to do with the other bearings. It fits. Fits tight. And where's my red one? Push it back in, pull it good. Okay, this was my red one, okay. Let's see if it fits. Fits in there just fine. Push it down. And now we'll tighten back on the differential cover. It doesn't need to be too tight. The other bearings I should probably look at are replacing these ones. And the casters. Tighten it down just a little bit. Turn it. Sounds good. Now see, when I put it together in this housing for the first time, it had a little bit of play to it. And I was like, that's a little weird. Maybe I need to shim it. I'll just run it, and that's what happens if you just run it. I should have thought about it and went and tightened those up. I should have. It was $30 later. I'm doing this. Like I said, these don't need to be too tight at all. They just be on there. Tooth off. And it might be easier just to go ahead and take all of this stuff off. Twist in. Oh no, okay. can. Take this, find the line. Wow, I'm losing it today. There we go, genius. Boom. And then when you're tightening back down the casters, they don't need to be insanely tight, just snug. I've made that mistake before, and then I couldn't figure out why my truck wasn't turning. There, and we're almost done. There we go. And then I'll take all these parts and throw them in there. And since I took it apart the way that I did, it really helps. It helps me out tremendously. Just makes everything so much easier. Panhard bar. That link back, really long-winded thing here. Oh my gosh. I swear, I wish I knew where my drill was. I'd just take the hex head out of there and just take it down to where it's almost all the way in. And since now I know I just need a $5 locker for that, and my gears, they're not stripped or anything like that, what I'll do is I'll end up buying a brand new set of bearings, and I'll put it all in that axle housing. Because I'll be able to use that for the front and the back. Okay, there. That's all done. Then we can take this, put the shock mount back on. It's these ones. And now you have a little bit of resistance. You don't need to tighten these down as tight as you can get them. Just go in there until they feel firm. Right about there. Perfect. Especially people that are new to this, you can strip these out. So be careful. I'll do it this way. Just get them down there until you feel the resistance. There we go. There's some resistance, and right there. Perfect. So I'll go ahead and put that back. Move that up. Turn the wheel. Same thing for this side. Now see, I've made the mistake of over tightening, and that's what happened to my transmission housing, is I over tightened these. I mean, I can get them in there to where they're snug, but if I go to snug them up a little bit more, they just turn. So I'm going to end up buying a metal or an aluminum transmission housing for it. Okay, now that that one's in, I'm going to go ahead and take this bolt, the screw, whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to put it back on. Put the shock back on. Now the other thing that I'm doing, that I am designing, and it's going to be another 509 Trails product, is I want to drop this panhard bar down a little bit, like probably 2 millimeters or so. I barely want to drop it so the servo horn doesn't hit it anymore. And I might do a mount back here that comes down and comes out. I might do it that way. I'm not 100% sure yet. So now we hook back up the steering.